What's going on, everybody? Cigar Show Tim here with another edition of Tobacco Talk, where I review a cigar and then I give you my thoughts on it in 4 key areas: flavor, draw, construction, and burn. It's everything you want to know about that cigar, but it's from my palate's perspective, and then I rate it as to whether I think it's nub worthy or not. So, as we can see down here, I have got a cigar from Plasencia. I picked it up at PCA back a few months ago, and this is actually a pre-release banned edition of it. It is the Plasencia 151 Cosecha, and then right here it says Cosecha Privada. So it is just the limited edition. But as we come back up here, let me show you all what the cigar looks like. So you can see right there. All right, well, if we're going to see what it's like, there's only one thing left to do. Let's light it up. All right, as you can see right here, I went with a nice straight cut. And on the cold draw, I did pick up some really interesting couple of notes. I picked up like a really musty wood barnyard kind of flavor note that was in there. And then just a little bit of earthiness. The draw on it was wide open, so I don't know how well it's going to do in terms of burn and all that. It does not feel like there are any soft spots in the rolling, like it's too loosely packed, nothing like that at all. In fact, let me show you the foot here. It does not look like it is too loosely packed. It has got very little give at all. So it doesn't seem like there should be any problems with it, but well, let's toast her up. Okay, upon initial light up, very, very dark earthiness, rich cocoa note that's in there, and some really dark oaky wood. Those are the three most prominent flavor notes. There's a little bit of a sweeter tobacco note coming in on the long finish now. But I'm going to jump into the first third. When I come back, I'll let you know what the blend is of the cigar, anything else you need to know about it, and, well, how it's been going. All right, let me show you the burn here at the end of the first third. You can see here that there's just a little bit of a wave to it right there. But otherwise, it is doing very, very well with the burn and the burn line and everything right there. Ash stays on for, I'd say, probably a good inch or so before falling off. I went to go and tap it off, and it fell off just before I could get it tapped off in the ashtray. Fortunately, it went on the floor, not all over me. So, Cosecha 151, what does that mean? Cosecha is a Spanish word for harvest. So this is the 151st harvest from the Honduran farm down at the Plasencia factory down in Honduras. So Cosecha 151, this is the 151st harvest. The blend on this cigar, it is a Honduran puro. So every single bit of tobacco from this cigar, or for the cigar, was grown at the Plasencia farm and harvested and everything down there in Honduras. So it is a complete puro from Honduras. So flavor notes in the first third. They developed a little bit more. The first half of the first third, honestly, I was not a big fan of. It was very earthy forward and dark wood. And then about halfway through the first third, I started to get some really rich, nice chocolate cocoa notes that I got on initial light up. They were coming back in. So it started to get much more of like a dessert kind of cigar than it was of an earth forward, just really strong earthiness that I had on initial light up. So that part I really enjoyed. The draw on this is still very light. It's not wispy and airy, but it is borderline there with the one that I have. And the strength on this, I would say, jumps out of the gate as a good solid medium. I don't know if it's going to go up from there. We'll see. Time will tell on that. Now, this was all harvested in 2016. Haven't been able to find any information as far as how long they held on to it. Was the tobacco aged for a while? I just know that I got this at PCA, like I mentioned, back in July, and that was basically all I had to go off of. So from what I can see, it was harvested in 2016, and I know that within a couple months after PCA, I've seen some different websites that say, they were out of stock, they were looking for more, didn't know when it was going to be coming. So my guess is this is probably something that was released right around the PCA timeframe of the middle of summer. But if I find out more information, I'll be sure to let you know. But that's what's going on the first third. The draw, strength, all those different things. You've seen it. You've heard it. I'm going to jump into the second third. When I come back, I'll let you know of any changes in the flavor profile, what's going on with it, if the strength changes, and anything else I find that I think you all might need to know. Okay, let me show you the burn here at the end of the second third. We can see here that there's just that little bit of a wave still there, but as you come around the entire rest of the cigar, it is straight until you get back to that point where there is a noticeable dip in the burn line. So, flavor profile in this second third. It developed and it got much more like a dessert cigar with my flavor palette. So the chocolate cocoa note is absolutely still in there. There's a really nice roasted nuttiness that's in there as well, which I was pleasantly surprised to experience. Didn't know how the cigar was going to go with it being a Honduran puro, but I wanted to, see where it would go and where it would take me. And so in the second third, the cocoa note is absolutely there. The nuttiness is there, but there's also some pepper that has been introduced now in the second third of the cigar. And it's not a very spicy pepper, but it's a noticeable black pepper. You get a little bit more of it on the retrohale than you do when you don't retrohale, but it's not much more. You definitely have some pepper coating my palate right now, but it's not anything that is crazy spicy whatsoever that you would expect from more of like a Nicaraguan tobacco. So strength on this, I would say, is staying right there at the medium. It's not climbing up at all. I don't know if it will as the cigar wraps up. Only time will tell on that one. The draw on it is a little bit snug, a little bit more snug than it was in the first third of the cigar. So it did get to a much more pleasant draw resistance than it was initially at the beginning of the cigar. So it's doing really well. Strength, burn, draw, all those different things. You've got the flavor profile, you have all of that. I'm going to jump into the final third of the cigar, see how it rounds out. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. It's been much more of a dessert like cigar, and I'm really enjoying it at this point. First third, as I said a second ago, didn't care for it a whole lot when it started. The second third, I have enjoyed much, much more. And there's a little bit of an oakiness that's still there on the long finish, only when you're retrohale, but it is very, very nice and complementary to the other flavor notes. So I'm going to jump to the final third. When I come back, I'll let you know any changes in the flavor profile, if the strength changes, and we'll decide whether or not this cigar is nub worthy. Okay, let me show you the burn here at the end of the cigar. We can see here that it is down to the nub and has just a little bit of a wave to it. You can see right there, there's just a bit of a wave to it. I did correct the cigar at one point in the final third just because I wanted to make sure the burn didn't get too wonky. So I corrected it and it performed just fine for the rest of the cigar. Flavor notes as the cigar wrapped up. So there's a noticeable coffee note that's in there, fresh roasted coffee. It's not bitter espresso, nothing like that at all. The nuttiness is still there, but the pepper actually came down quite a bit and is just sort of a white pepper, just really smooth, nothing pungent, nothing strong. When you retrohale, it's not spicy, nothing like that whatsoever. And then there's this really almost like molasses, brown sugar kind of note that's in there. There's also a bit of a vegetal note that's in there that I didn't expect that kind of surprised me, but it wasn't off-putting at all. It was just very surprising to pick that up as the cigar wrapped up because there was nothing vegetal about the cigar in the first or second third. Just as it's ending up right here at the nub is when I'm starting to pick that up. Strength on the cigar stayed right there at a good solid medium. Didn't ramp up, didn't go down, stayed at a nice solid medium pretty much throughout the entire cigar. And the draw did get a little bit looser again in the final third, but it was nothing wispy. There was plenty of smoke output, very rich smoke output, full body flavor, and very rich in the way that it progressed through all of the thirds of the cigar. If you've had the Cosecha 151, I'd love for you to put some comments down below. What was your take on it? Have you had it? Have you seen it? Have you checked it out? Anything like that at all? Like I said, the band that was on it is not the final product, is not the production band. I was told that at PCA, made very aware that that was just sort of the band that they had out there for then that they were putting out. But if you've had it, leave some comments down below. I'm curious your take on it compared to the 149 or some of the other ones that are out there from Plasencia. But overall, do I think this is a nubworthy cigar? I'm going to say that I don't think this is a nubworthy cigar for me. I enjoyed the coffee, the nuttiness, that sort of molassesy note at the end. The vegetal note kind of threw me off. It wasn't off-putting, but it didn't seem to fit in the final third with the rest of the flavor profile of the cigar. I enjoyed some different aspects of it, but overall for me, this isn't a cigar for my palate. It may be a cigar for your palate, and again, put that down in the comments. I'd be curious to get your take on it, or if you've tried it, if you think this is something that you will like, let me know. This is something that I would say is pretty different from a lot of the stuff that Plasencia has out, where it's whether it's the Alma del Campo, Alma del Fuego, any of the other ones that they have. This is quite different than those cigars, and so it's a little bit of a deviation, in my opinion, from what we are used to from Plasencia and what is coming out. But that's going to do it for this edition of Tobacco Talk. Enjoy your cigar journey, everybody. I'm Cigar Show Tim. As always, I'll see you.